before I got sober, which was about 9 years ago, I doubted everything. And that's why it wasn't a business. I only formed my LLC, after I got sober. I only started really taking on clients other than the project I was doing after I got sober. I did not believe that I could do this. Like, I just didn't think I had the skills or was smart. And I just talked to myself. I spent more time talking myself out of things than I did like, just try this.
So the sobriety was a defining clarity moment for you. Hi, and welcome back to the Mind Body Method podcast. And I am your host, Josh Grimm. If you're building something that actually matters to you, this episode is going to hit. Exceptional doesn't happen by accident. It's not loud, it's not rushed, and most of the time it's happening quietly when no one's watching. This episode is for anyone who's creating something that matters to them, a business, a body, a relationship, a vision for their life. Because what I've learned is that exceptional things aren't built in the highlight reel moments. They're built in consistency, in doubt, and choosing to show up again, even when the results aren't obvious yet. I've had seasons and sometimes years when I've questioned everything I was building, and I still do sometimes, where progress felt slow, where it would have been easier to scale back a little or even stop, where I wanted to just grab a 9-to-5 job. But for me, that's settling for something that's not my true path. And every time the work asks something deeper of me, patience, integrity, and belief. In today's conversation, we talk about what it really takes to build something exceptional from the inside out. The mindset, the discipline, the willingness to stay aligned with your standards even when the shortcuts are tempting. If you're in a season of building, this episode is for you. Not to rush the process, but to respect it. Let's get into it. Hi, and welcome back to the Mind Body Method podcast. I am your host, Josh Grimm. This is a place where we explore what it takes to build strength, clarity, and purpose in all different areas of your life, including your mind and your body. So today we are going to be talking about drive, passion, momentum, and the mindset that it takes to build something truly exceptional. My first guest has turned a staging business into something that has not just been a thriving and big business, but also an art form, and built a brand that has become the gold standard in the industry. We are going to learn today what fuels his type of success, what motivates him, what drives him, and how he sees his world. Please allow me to introduce Jason Saft. Jason Saft is the founder and creator of Stage to Sell Home. He is a client and a friend, and I'm very excited to have him here. Jason, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You're
I'm
welcome.
excited to be here.
So I have known you for years, and I have always been super excited to talk to you about your business, talk to you about what drives your brand, what drives your passion. You're a very motivational man. And so I want you to tell me, tell the viewers, tell the audience a little bit more about Stage to Sell Home and who Jason Saft is.
So I'm Jason Saft. I'm the founder of Stage to Sell Home. I give myself my own title of Chief Magic Maker. So when you start your own business, you can give yourself whatever title you want. So this was born out of, the thing I love to do I was decorating my room when I was a kid. I was organizing things. It really was a hobby that happened in a second career in real estate a little over 20 years ago. I just started fixing up people's places, and I found that was always when I was the happiest. I always felt like I was doing, like I had purpose. It wasn't a job. I wasn't punching a clock. It wasn't checking off a to-do list. It felt like, to me, it was like breathing, right? Like, I know it sounds crazy, but fixing up these properties, decorating, just transforming the space was just this very natural thing that I loved to do.
And so what was step one? How did you start the actual business itself? What was the journey?
It's been a long one. I mean, it's been over 20 years. And I think, the biggest part is I never really believed it would be here for a very long period of time. It was just something that I loved to do. I'd go into these properties, they weren't selling, and it was very clear it was like problem solving by design. And so, design was the one thing I wanted to do as a young kid, but it wasn't really a career path for like a young boy growing up in the 80s, the 1980s, not the 1880s.
But what you
just
do,
to be clear on age. I know I'm a little,
but what you do though, it is design.
Right.
Right.
Oh yeah, 100%. But I was told, like you're going to grow up to be a doctor or a lawyer, which neither of those things, like I had the capacity for. But, I started in PR, I went into real estate, but it was like digging into these projects was the part that just felt so incredibly amazing. And I realized it took a bit of time to understand like the thing I kept gravitating towards, the instead of like just an open house, like I wanted to prepare for the open house. I wanted to like when I really started to boil it down, like that's what I was doing in my room when I was 10 years old.
So that's the passion.
It took me a while to figure that out. It wasn't as obvious as it may seem, but it started to work. And when I started in real estate, like if you don't have connections, if you don't have, a family name, if you didn't go to the right school, like you have to be really scrappy. Again, this is over 20 years ago. This is before, people had iPhones. Like you had to like dig for these clients. And so by fixing up these properties, that's how I stood out. And I started to build a business as a real estate agent from being the one that could go in and say, I know why this didn't work. And let me show you, right? Like I didn't just tell someone. I would say, why don't you go stand outside for 10 minutes and like, let me just be in the space, and I would make changes and bring them back in.
Did you ever have any kind of doubts, or were you nervous that this is something that would not work? Because, whenever you are in a career, you're doing a job and, it's not really kind of connecting or working out for you well, but there's something else that you found a passion. Like that's sometimes when people get scared or lost.
Oh yeah. That was the first, probably I would say 13 years of this. Like I was the king of self-doubt. Like I never believed it would be in this place. I didn't think I could start my own business. I didn't think I was smart enough. I didn't think I had the skill set. I didn't, I look at the designers I look up to, and I would never even consider that I could design like that or be anywhere like that. And I didn't want to embarrass myself. And I sort of, I grew up in a way where I was told like, you can't do this. And like, not everyone gets to a certain place. And so the before I got sober, which was about 9 years ago, I doubted everything. And that's why it wasn't a business. I only formed my LLC, after I got sober. I only started really taking on clients other than the project I was doing after I got sober. I did not believe that I could do this. Like I just didn't think I had the skills or was smart. And I just talked to myself. I spent more time talking myself out of things than I did like just try this.
So the sobriety was a defining clarity moment for you.
1,000%.
I find that interesting because I'm not well versed enough in sobriety to understand, the dynamics behind it, but I feel like that would also be a very scary place to be able to go from being sober and also diving into a new career path and following something that you're really passionate about in this new sobriety as well.
Well, it was more than that. I also became a parent at the same time. And then I was responsible for a child who's sitting right here.
Who's sitting here in the room.
Who's watching me, smiling at me. And so everything, like my whole world and what I knew was completely different. And you do have that like come to Jesus kind of moment. And you start thinking like, what am I going to do? And how am I going to do this? And so, when I got sober, I had this capacity to start to process things and to focus things. And the truth is, like, I also like those isms of alcoholism and that time and that, that need to fixate on something. Like I channeled into my work, like, alcoholism, drug addiction. It's not just like the addiction to the substance. It's like, there's a whole mindset to it. And you like zero in on something, you're obsessive about it and you have to do it. And I got to tell you, like, it really works out really well if you can channel that into your passion, into your art, into your work. And I really just started to hunker down, and it was an instant night and day difference. I mean, it was also helpful that I wasn't waking up at 11:30 like on a Tuesday, and 2 drinks in by 3 or 4 o'clock. Like that's where I was up until we're almost at the 9-year anniversary. We're like 3 weeks away from it.
Do you feel like then building and like going towards this business, is it, was it out of necessity for healing and growth, or was it just that you were ready at this time of clarity that you thought that you believed in yourself more, that you were able to pull the trigger?
It's probably D, all of the above. I mean, like I wanted to do it. I needed to do it to survive and to grow and to bring in money. But it also, like, having that bandwidth and that clarity, like it again, it I didn't look at it as a normal job. I had a job while I was doing this, and it was very different. Like in the way that I viewed tasks, responsibilities, a to-do list, communicating with people, like that always felt like a job. Whereas the stage to sell home, it didn't. It was like this. It was just like a part of me. Like, and again, it was just like fixing up people's apartments, painting, and like, it was very the early days of it. Like now I have this amazing team of 12 people. We have a warehouse. Like, I've gotten these write-ups and, like the New Yorker. But the early days, which was again like sort of pre getting sober, and then just like 9 years ago, it was just like me on a bike, like getting a can of paint and like painting someone's entryway at 10 or 11 o'clock at night, because that was when I was free and I could do it, and just fixing it up and like going room by room and getting everything done and running around the city and picking up towels and hand soap and like running over to Housing Works and finding like one piece of furniture because we needed it and there was no budget. Like it was so scrappy, but the results and the way that it all came together was incredible. It was sort of like putting on like a theatrical production, like just out of thin air.
I mean, I've been watching you for years, and your drive is insane, and it's so commendable. Do you ever feel tired?
Yeah, all the time, but it's different, right? Like I'm tired, but it's not like I don't want to quit. I always want to keep challenging myself. What I am learning is how to find balance, how to listen to your body when it's like you need to take a break. Listen to your body when it's like, okay, it's 1:30 in the morning, like you need to stop working. Like it's I love it. Like last night I had fallen asleep early. I woke up in the middle of the night. I couldn't sleep, and I'm working on this little project. And I just was like, I opened up my laptop and I was so into it. And I looked back at the clock and it was 2:00. And I was like, shit, like I need to go to bed. I was like, but 5 more minutes. Like I want to do it.
But is there ever a place where you feel that you have to drive yourself so hard because there's a fear of going backwards? Or is it that you're just that passionate about what you do that it's just like you're happy for the forward trajectory?
I don't know about a fear of going backwards, but you are only as good as your last project. And so for me, like like we do these projects, I'll photograph them. I look at the images and I study them, and I look at something that was 2 years ago and 3 and 4 years ago, and I see the growth in it. And then I'll go to, an art exhibition or something, and I see new ideas or something I've never thought of. And I think of how do I incorporate that into there. So it's not a fear of going backwards like that doesn't even come into my mind, but the fear of maybe not exceeding all expectations, that's something that scares me. Or when someone we're working on something right now where like the developer didn't like where we started, and it was a very odd experience to have someone come in and be like, I don't like this.
Right.
And the truth is there were elements of it that I didn't like, that I was working on, and that I felt I understood because of the parameters of this project and the timeline why it wasn't an immediate like, oh my God, this is incredible. And that's often what happens. Like we will walk into a space, we've had the time to prepare it, which sometimes is just like a week or 2 weeks.
Right.
But we start to just shape it with, what's been planned. And it is an immediate, like you're just standing there moving these things, unwrapping the furniture, putting it together. And, within the course of an hour, you're kind of like, oh my God, this is like, wow. And then sometimes, if it doesn't feel right, like I know I need to dig in and figure out like what is not working.
So I'm sure people are probably curious. So I know that you have a massive warehouse where you house all of your stuff. Tell us about your warehouse.
It's big. It's like, I think of like Pee-wee's Playhouse. It's a fun creative space, and I've never had that before. Like when the business started, it was one storage room at Manhattan Mini Storage, a few blocks from where we are, which is essentially a prison cell. It is an 8x8, like cement cylinder. There's no light. There's one of those steel doors where there's not even like a latch to see the eyes or slide, bread and water through. There's no electrical. Like that's what I worked in. And I would sit there and like fold pillowcases and organize and get things prepped. And that's where it started. And now it's been 5 years. We had a smaller space, but we're in Industry City. It's a beautiful facility. There's incredible, we have like incredible neighbors. The Future Perfect is our next door neighbor. Roman and Williams Guild is in the building. So there's all these great people. And then it's 24,000 square feet. We have windows, which is great. We have, we didn't, in the first warehouse, there wasn't a single window. So it's like 100 degrees and you're moving furniture and climbing on a ladder and it was a lot. And now, so we have windows, we have bathrooms, we have a little like kitchen, like we have a refrigerator where you can put food and sit down and eat. And it's funny, like those things sound, but 5 years ago, I was sitting in a cement block with like an egg salad sandwich in my pocket, sitting on a milk crate, folding pillowcases. And so like those little things of the bathrooms, and we have, heating and cooling, like it's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
And it just, I'm working with the warehouse team now to get it in a place of how I want it to be, like organized, like a level of cleanliness, a way that you can walk through and sort of understand the materials that we're working with and see things that are interesting and inspiring, because, it's not just me anymore. Like I have 3 designers. And so when they're there, like the experience I always had of being in those storage units, because that's before there was organization, like everything was just out. But the joy of that was you could sort of see it and you understood what was there and you could start to design with it. And I love having a space that you can walk through and you can see some of the different pieces and understand like what we're working with.
So what is the mindset that you're going to keep and retain that's going to keep you from plateauing? Because I'm sure, since I know you, I know that this is probably not the end all be all where you are right now. In 5 years from now, you're going to have something bigger or better, or 2 spaces or whatever it is. So what keeps you from staying where you are now? Or are you happy where you are now?
I'm very happy where I am now. I have other things in my life. Like I'm a parent. I like being involved and present. So it's not like I'm looking to bring this to 10 other cities or go like intergalactic, right? Like when I look at what we're doing and when I look at where we were 5 years ago and doing a 4th floor walk up 1-bedroom apartment where like I was maybe getting paid, I maybe wasn't getting paid, maybe they like made me lunch and that was payment. We're working in such different things, and the design and the capabilities we have are so different. So for me, it's sort of like, how do I continue to grow naturally what I'm doing? And then working with like, there's some product I'd love to design and bring to market. And, a lot of through Instagram, I get a lot of people that say like, I wish somehow like I could work with you, even though I'm not selling my home. Like I bought this because, you always use it or you talk about this. So like right now I'm just sort of exploring like different products, and I'm working on, just mapping out a book.
So there's definitely something there, right?
There's a lot. I think sometimes people, they succeed in something and they get a little bit of attention for it. And then it's like, okay, now what's next after this? Where it's like, okay, what's the next level of what I'm doing? Like, there are certain types of projects I want to work with, different agents I want to work with.
But you're able to hold space for where you are right now and really enjoy where you are.
You sound like Cynthia Erivo. Is that the Wicked, like holding space
I never
interview
saw
thing? That was a big, like, that's a big thing now, holding space.
Okay, well, I haven't seen it. So.
Yeah. All right. You can hold space.
So
hold space and hold my drink.
What is something maybe a little bit unglamorous about your day to day? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of grit and grind.
The
and
bulk of
else,
it. I mean, it's not. I'm racing around the city, as you know, on a bike. Like sometimes I'm in 3 places. Sometimes I'm in 7 or 8 different places. Mm-hmm. Like it's still scrappy. Like the photographs on Instagram look beautiful, and yes, we are in really spectacular places and we're doing really special things, but it's fucking hard work. It's like backbreaking physical labor. Like I'm still schlepping stuff all day, every day. And I love it. Like I'm not looking to stop that, but in order to make all of this, like it is very unglamorous. It's like, when I hire someone, I tell them like, you're going to feel pain. Like you're going
Because
to
you're
be
the boss.
tired. No, totally. Well, that's a different podcast, but, no, it's a very physical, demanding job. And it's like, we're also working in time constraints. Real estate is not sort of like, sure, tell us how long you'd love to take. You want to take
Right.
like we're turning some of these properties around in like a day or two.
Right. So it's probably really hard to just take a step back and even appreciate what you've done
Yeah.
until the
I try
property's-
to. I've like,
Okay.
that's something like as I get older and like
Enjoying
get
the
into
moment,
well,
staying
and also like
present.
listen to what my therapist tells me to do. Like it's like especially recently there have been a lot of really wonderful things that have happened, and my natural inclination is just to keep barreling through it. Like, okay, that happened, great. But I have had some things where I took like an hour and I sat and was just like, wow. And I will go through my phone and look at pictures and sort of see like, wow, this was 5 years ago,
Right.
which is not a long period of time.
What is one of your favorite parts of the process? Is it working with clients? Is it the end result? Is it the process? Is it, getting the job? What is it that you like the best? Is it the design?
All of the above.
Yeah.
Within each of those, like there's so much I love. And that's the thing about when I talk about like when this doesn't feel like a job, where, when I was a real estate agent or a publicist, like I could say, I like this, I didn't like this. I like this, I didn't like this. But this work and the design, like again, last night, like I am happy to be up like well into the morning working on a project. I love being like, the one thing as the business grows and I get busier and get pulled into different things, like I miss physically installing the project. Like I love the physical labor of it. I truly like, there was a point years ago where the movers used to say to me, like, you don't need to come out to the truck and like take the furniture. Like I like to go to the truck. I like to pick the piece of furniture, like carry it in, bring it in, cut the blanket open, set it where it goes, and like start to build around that. And it's funny, my friend Shannon, who's one of the photographers I work with, she said to me once, and I remember it, she's like, you want to have your hands in everything.
Right.
Like you want to, and I do,
Control.
and control. But I sometimes, like if I'm not setting it up and I'm not there and I'm not part of it, I feel disconnected from it. And I don't like that feeling. Like I truly love like knowing that, like not only did like I source this, I, have a team that helped get it to where it needs to be, the database on the truck into the space. But I also want to like take that piece of art that I fell in love with, at a gallery, and then I want to hang it on the wall and make sure like the composition is perfect. And then I want to go there a week later with the photographer and shoot it.
Do you notice your aesthetic for design and style and staging changing and evolving through the years? And does it coincide with where you are in your life? I mean,
1,000%. I mean, that's the beauty of all of this is learning, right? Like so I recently did a project not far from here on 13th Street, and it was the penthouse of a very prestigious condominium, very expensive apartment. But what was interesting, it's 4 doors down from the building where I got my start 20 years ago.
Oh.
And it was like where I got my first rental listing. It was a 200 square foot, 1 bedroom for like $2,300 a month. And my career in stage sell home started in this building. And from the primary wing, right? Like I used to be climbing up and down stairs into 200 square foot apartments that haven't been renovated in 4 years. Now there's like a primary wing. You could see the building and you can see into the apartments. And so it really became very present like 20 years ago. And so I found some photos of what I was doing in that little rental building versus what my team and I came in and we're now doing in this, very special condominium. And it really was this powerful thing to look at. There were 2, I looked at the bedside of the primary, which Ty, who works for me, really helped sort of grow from the initial idea, but juxtaposed against the bedside of what I did almost 20 years ago. I was so busted. But like 20 years ago, I was so proud of that. And so to compare those 2 images, like the bedside manner, I love that. And I actually, try and show that in my work, where a lot of people in design, like, they don't want to acknowledge or look at things that they did that's kind of
The before and
cringy
afters
now.
almost.
Yeah. But that's the growth, right? That's life. That's being a parent. That's the difference of, where my life was 10 years ago versus now. And it's the same thing within my work.
I think being transparent with like who you are as a human being, transparent with your growth and your evolution of your career, I think is actually what probably draws a lot of people to you. As they want to be your client, they want to be your friend, they want to be around you because of your openness and your transparency of who you are, your faults, your mistakes, but also your successes. So speaking of which, I know you've
Let's
had
get
a lot
into
of
your failures.
I know you've had a lot
Let's
of success.
explore all of your failures.
You've had a lot of success lately, and continue to. So tell me a little bit about some of the accolades that Stage to Sell Home has recently. Like, it seems like every week there's something I'm seeing on social media or in a magazine or whatnot. You have a lot of projects, a lot of things happening.
Shit's good. This year we won, which was really cool, the best luxury and best home staging by our trade organization, which was really good. And then just got profiled in the New Yorker, which was really just kind of wild, like to get profiled there and to have someone, writer was following me on Instagram and just reached out, and it was really funny. And I still remember the call, and she's like, would you consider like talk? And I was like, oh my God, this is the New York. Like who would say no to talking to the New Yorker? And then the New York Times came and covered the warehouse sale, which was a wild experience. Like I never imagined we'd have like 1,000 people like storming the warehouse and getting online at 7:00 in the morning to buy out all of our sort of cast offs and stuff. So yeah, it's been a great year.
So whenever you look at the different successes that you've had, is there one that is kind of outshining another? Or like what comes to your mind right away whenever I, ask you about success? Like what is forefront in your mind? Is it the warehouse sale? And is it the recent like write-ups and the recent attention?
I think it's just, it's a combination of a few things, like working on a project with some of my team and just like having the team and being able to collaborate with people and have things grow, and like just seeing how big this all is and like how many people contributed to it is great. And I will say that the New Yorker, like it really, the people who came to me after reading it was really just a wonderful thing. Cause I do just get lost in the work, and I don't always take the time to appreciate it. I don't think of it that much. Like I'm constantly so mired down by it. And so just so many different people reached out, and people within the industry that I respect and that, I feel like for years I was jumping up like, hi, I'm here. Hi, talk to me. Now came to me and were like, wow, this is really impressive. Like what you've built and your story. And
so are you proud?
Oh, I'm beyond proud, because it's not easy to look. It's, the thing that came out of it, I built this from scratch with no resources. Like I don't come from really much of anything. Like I had a single mom who worked 2 full-time jobs, a deadbeat dad who like I rarely ever saw in my childhood and never gave a nickel in child support. Like I started working on my 14th birthday and I haven't stopped since. A lot of that work was just to survive, to pay rent, to eat. And it was like hand to mouth and paycheck to paycheck up until like, I would say maybe 5 or 6 years ago.
Have you had anybody come to you yet and say, you know what, you're my unspoken mentor, you're someone that I look up to, you're someone who I want to be? Are there like young up and coming stagers that have reached out to you?
Yeah, I will say there's just people in general, like especially through Instagram, who reach out constantly, and it is really nice. And that's something like I know that there are so many people that I've just messaged over the years, like of how I respect them, and I look at their work and what they've built, and it's probably one of the best feelings when people you don't know or stop you on the street and reference something from years ago that you did that they remember, or like they'll ask me about my daughter Leora, or they've met her on the street and they know little things. And it is really sweet that, again, when you think about it, like I'm a home stager, right? But it's like the business, how I built it, the story behind it, like people are connecting to that. It's not just like I got the home sold. It's
course.
like the story behind it and the work behind it, and that
They're connected to you.
yeah, knowing that people see more than just like a pretty space.
I thought you were going to say a pretty face.
Well, clearly not. I'm a 6.5 on a really good day with a facial, a haircut, a beard trim, and a vegetarian diet for 2 weeks.
Okay.
And my gym routine
trainer.
and a trainer if I show up.
I
missed Friday. Somebody's in trouble.
So
Trouble,
do you make decisions?
trouble.
Do you make decisions?
You knew I was going to sing once in here.
Just once.
Just once. Maybe
Do you
twice.
make decisions on your design and your style based on obviously instinctual and your gut, and you have, it's second nature to you. But do you ever use like actual data from past performing spaces?
A lot of it is based on. So I talk with my clients. Who's coming? Who connected with it? Who didn't like it? Who made the offer? What is their profile? That like who have you met that's moving into the neighborhood? Like that's information I'm always researching and trying to find out because that's what help guides it. Like but you also have to keep listening to what's happening out there in the marketplace. There's shifts, there's changes. We all get busy. And so, in the early days, it was very easy for me because I was the agent in the property and I could say, look, it's only been families coming through the door. Like, I know this is your bachelor pad. I know you like this, but like, every single person that's come through was like a family of 3, right? And they're not connecting with it. I remember once I did a house down the block from here. It was very funny because they were in real estate and a beautiful house. They spent years renovating it. It was so meticulous. It was on the market, I want to say I still remember some of the numbers. It was like on the market for like 260 days. Couldn't sell. And so I went to meet him there and we're like walking through the house and I was like, who's coming? He's like, everyone's a family. I'm like, what kind of family? He's like with kids. And I'm like a heterosexual family. And he's like, yeah. I was like, yeah, this is a house of like gay erotica. Like, of course, no one's connecting with it. Everything is like an oil painting of like a naked young man. Like, it's odd. If you have, like families of 5 coming through here and this is like, the eagle, it's not going to work. Like, we need to make a change. Made that change, made the kids' rooms, the house sold in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So obviously we hear, that
Not that there's anything wrong with the house of gay. There's nothing wrong with the house of gay erotica.
Right. Like the eagle.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with
My
the eagle.
apartment. No, just your apartment.
So obviously you're super driven, you're super passionate with your work, with your family. What else inspires the drive? Like, is there something out there? I know you're a big foodie. I know that you love food, travel. Like what else kind of gives you the inspiration to create the aesthetic of the design that you like to portray?
I just I love design. I love seeing new things. I love traveling and exploring. And I really love antiquated objects. Like I always have. I grew up in, our house, like we didn't have that much, but there were always antiques. Like there was an old, I forget what you would call it, but like an old phone on the wall. Not the one.
Payphone?
No. Not like a corded phone, which we grew up with, but like the old wooden box with like the tiny little receiver on the string with the 2 bells on top. Like we always had things like that in the house. And so that was always very like a space that I like, seeing things that didn't exist anymore. And so I love just like going out and searching and looking for things that maybe just aren't around and like bringing them back into life and stuff.
How would you rate my design aesthetic? Scale of 1 to 10?
No, I think it's very you. It's I would give it's clean. I would give it like an 8.5.
Oh, you would not.
Girl, what am I gonna,
This podcast is over.
It's just that I'm like the accent wall thing is like just
Drives you nuts?
yeah, I'm not into it. I'm sorry. I don't want to be rude.
You didn't realize that you were going to be staging this apartment for part 2 of this podcast?
I do.
Where is the truck?
I will tell you, I love the line of paint, and I like that it's not even. I like that it's like a third. I'm super into that.
I made that line.
I'm just the accent walls. I'm just like they gotta go.
It's a hard no?
Yeah, it's a hard no.
So what is something that you're actively working on right now, like internally or externally, to kind of build up to the next chapter? I mean, is it what you mentioned earlier about dabbling in with product and
Well, if we're going to take this very
collapse.
literal, if I'm working on what am I working on that's about the next chapter is I am putting together a pitch deck for a book.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'll read it.
Yeah. There's no words, just pictures.
All right, so
Even
I have
better.
a couple of questions for you. We are going to do
This is rapid fire?
We're going to do a little rapid fire.
Oh my God. Or let's have people call in.
Okay. Where's that wooden phone thing that you were
Totally.
One habit that has changed everything for you.
Like adherence to a calendar and scheduling.
Your biggest creative inspiration.
My biggest creative inspiration, I would say
People or
Madonna.
place. Madonna, okay. Favorite type of space to transform.
Oh, an estate, like a busted, disgusting, broke down, like the more poor condition and like fearful you are for your safety of being in it, like I'm into it.
A mindset belief that you swear by.
I think you have to like stop waiting for perfection and just do it. Like just stop. If could I just do it? Like try some version of it and go.
A piece of advice that you'd give to younger Jason Saft.
Oh my God, put down that drink, girl. And that cigarette. And that eight ball.
Rose and thorn for today.
My rose is that I get to come here with my daughter and we're going to go have a little adventure afterwards. My little manager, she's my publicist over there. My thorn, my only thorn is that like I had to leave my neighborhood today. Like it's been so
You're
nonstop.
anti-West Chelsea.
No. I'm not anti. I have to say like because I'm all over the city all the time and I'm in constant movement, there is something so just grounding about just staying home, like, and not getting on the bike, not getting in a car, just like I live in Brooklyn Heights, a great neighborhood. Christmas decorations are out. Like
It's beautiful there. It's homey.
Yeah. So not to, I'm thrilled to be here, but I prefer not to be.
So you're not staging today.
Not staging today, but I
staging
am
here.
we're going to go to Field and Supply. I'm going to show her the Empire Diner. We're going to get a little nosh.
Amazing.
And then we've got a holiday party tonight. It's Christmas in Brooklyn Heights.
I want to thank you so much. I loved learning more about your business and about you. And I'm sure the viewers and the listeners are going to be inspired about your drive and your passion. And, we always look for your success and it just seems to always be climbing and climbing. You're an inspiration and I love you. And I'm so happy
You're
that
the meaning in my life.
Take us out.
You're the inspiration.
And on that note, if you want to learn more about Jason Saft, you could find him on Instagram
I don't know the lyrics.
To Sell Home or at stagetosellhome.com. Thank you.
Oh, wait, it should have been.
If you have questions or comments, please send them to questions@mindbodymethodpodcast.com or look at me at social media at joshgrim_fitnut, and I'll be happy to answer. Thanks. Thank you for joining me today on Mind Body Method. This podcast is part of Pride House Media, hosted by me, Josh Grimm, produced and edited by Josh Rosenzweig. Original music composed by Nell Balabin. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And while you're there, leave us a rating and review. It really helps others to discover the show. I'd love to stay connected with you, so join the conversation by following me at joshgrim_fitnut on Instagram and by emailing me at questions@mindbodypodcast.com.